Welcome to episode 17 of the Ringo Report. I'm your host, Brandon Ringo. Thank you so much for watching. There's a lot of cool shows happening this week in Central Arkansas at some of the biggest venues in the town. It's just a lot of really cool stuff is happening. So one thing that's happening tonight actually is a Punks for Palestine show. It's going to be happening at the Whitewater Tavern. That's going to be featuring Revenge Bodies, Dot, Skull of the Americas, and LRM. This show is going to be one of the last shows that Skull of the Americas does. And so this is definitely something where if you've been wanting to see that band, if you've seen their name on the flyer and you're like, I wonder what they sound like, you should definitely go check them out because it's going to be one of the last times you'll get to. Another show that's happening on Thursday in Little Rock is Nickel Creek and Gabby Moreno are going to be playing at the Hall. And then if you live in Memphis, a show that you'd absolutely have to check out is East Tennessee Doom Lords Wind Rider are going to be performing at the High Tone with Sunway and Death Revival. Wind Rider is an absolutely like scorching hot up and coming like band in the world of doom metal and stuff. And they're going to be playing a lot of cool festivals and stuff. They've got a new record coming out this year. So if you live in Memphis, you absolutely have to check out go see Wind Rider and you will not regret it. A cool show that's happening on Friday at the Hall is Wallflowers featuring local openers Joe and the Fields, it's always cool to see a local band getting to open a big show like this. And this is absolutely like a great, it's a wonderful bill all around, honestly, because Joe and the Fields, they're so good. And, also, another really cool show that's happening Friday night at Vino's. Hardcore legends Negative Approach are going to be playing at Vino's with Peach Blush, Threat, and First to Burn. And this show is like really important for a number of reasons. Specifically, like Negative Approach is definitely the type of band that it's a rarity that they would even perform like here. And so it's really, really cool like that they're doing this show. And then also this is the debut of First to Burn, which has like members of Terminal Nation in it, and it's just they're such good dudes, and their new album is just absolutely killer. And so this is their first time performing those songs live. And so this is definitely going to be a cool show. Also, Threat is another Little Rock super group, and that's just absolutely awesome. So this show is going to be really cool. It's a really big deal, and I'm glad that it's happening. Another really big show happening at Simmons Bank Arena is Whiskey Myers will be playing with Lucas Nelson and the Promise of the Reals, which I believe that's Willie Nelson's son, and then also Reed Houghton. So that's going to be happening at Simmons. And then the band Derry is going to be performing at Sticky's on Friday night, and they're going to be featuring local opener Ginger Giant. And then also another big show happening, and of course, there's not enough stuff happening downtown Little Rock that on Friday night. Also, Need to Breathe is going to be performing at the Riverfront Amphitheater with Judah and the Lion. So that's some of the biggest venues in town, and it's just so cool to see them all full like on the same day like this, and then also having like Vino's, has got its thing. And so, so Friday night's going to be very packed. Saturday is full of there's a lot of stuff happening Saturday, and a lot of it's more like festivals and there's bigger shows with like a lot of bands and stuff on them. So one of the things to check out Saturday is 501 Fest at the South of Main District in Little Rock. It's going to feature local artists like Emily Fenton and Piecemeal Pact and P. Parker, and just a variety of really cool music. So 501 Fest is definitely something to check out. Also, a really fun show happening at Rev Room features the bands Sick TX and Lost in Hollywood, which are tributes to System of a Down and Slipknot. And so they're going to be playing a lot of cool songs. And of course, System of a Down is a band that you don't really get to see like live anymore unless you live like on the West Coast, basically. So this is if you really want to sing those songs, sing along to them, this is a great idea, a cool show. And then also a really cool show that's happening at Whitewater on Saturday. It's sold out, but it's still worth mentioning. Alejandro Escovedo is going to be performing. It's going to feature also James Mastro, and that's going to be a really cool show. And you might still be able to get in if you show up early enough. But you didn't hear that from me. Happening at Full Moon Records on Saturday, Memphis progressive metal band Fugitive Droids are going to be performing with Houseplant, Beef, and Vulturegeist. And so like this is another really cool show being put on by Full Moon Records, and Fugitive Droids are just so cool. They're such good dudes, and this is definitely a show that you will not want to miss, especially if you live like in that area. And then another really cool show, like a really big event, it's the annual Canis Bash. It's going to be happening Saturday at Canis Park. It's going to feature bands like Zilla, Trafficking Melodies, Chainsaw Lassie, and TV Preacher. Also, it's going to feature a band called Nine from New Orleans who's on tour, and a band called Loch Ness Monster. So that's going to be happening on Saturday. And then also on Saturday is Mayday Fest at Vino's. It's going to feature Emily Fenton, Snake Sutras, Vast Waste, and Thisness, which all of these are really, really special bands, especially like Thisness is like a weird, like a cool, like progressive kind of punk thing. And like all of these, artists are very talented. So this Mayfest event is definitely something really cool. And then happening at Pizza D's is a benefit show for punk rock Ian, and it features Benadryl, Kid Cult, and a reunion of the band Shoe, which I think has got like members of Blast and stuff in it. And then also happening Saturday is the Southwest Rising Stars Tour at Hard Riders in Cabot. Fun fact, Hard Riders is actually the first stage where I sang heavy metal in this area. I went and visited when I was like first getting ready to move here, and I sang karaoke here, and it was super fun. So at Hard Riders on Saturday, it's going to feature Nine Left Dead, Dawn of Ascension, Once Erased, 11 After, Almost Guilty, Fred, Dime Store Riot, and Secondhand Sin. A lot of these are up-and-coming bands in Central Arkansas that haven't necessarily started playing Vino shows yet and stuff, but they're like working their way up to it. And so these are definitely some Arkansas bands that you want to check out. So that's going to be happening on Saturday. And then on Monday is a really cool show at River City Coffee. It's going to feature Ultra, Stressor, Soror, and Non-Kana. And so that's going to be a really cool, I was going to say like a kind of like an indie show, but Stressor is very loud and very boisterous and stuff. So and Ultra is also very noisy. So it's going to be a really cool show. Happening, so that's going to be happening on Monday. And then on Tuesday night there's a couple of really cool shows. One of them's featuring Deterioration, Traffic Death, Primal Tyrant, and Blast at Vino's. And then Deterioration, they're like a grindcore band from Minnesota, and they're really good. They come here every so often, and just these guys are definitely put on the kind of show that you don't want to miss if you like that kind of like music, especially if you're like a death metal head. And then also a show happening at the Hall Tuesday night is the Struts and La Spirit, which I actually saw the Struts open for Foo Fighters back here, and I think I saw in Little Rock, and it was a really cool show. Actually, it was really fun, and I had never heard of them, but then I saw them and I was just like, oh god, like they're the perfect band built for like arena shows and stuff. And so it's definitely cool seeing them come to the Hall. Also, something that you definitely want to be checking out this week is new music from Terminal Nation. They are the premier like Little Rock death metal band. They're the band that's been keeping the scene afloat and like really waving the flag for Arkansas and Little Rock especially. And this album release is very important. Their new album Echoes of the Devil's Den comes out on Friday, and it's got a lot of cool guest features. It's got guys like Todd Jones from Nails. It's got Jesse from Killswitch Engage. It's got a lot of other cool guest vocal parts and stuff. The music on this album is just them at their absolute peak. They've hit, with the music they've added so much stuff to their sound, like this new record is an absolute killer. And it's kind of cool that they put a billboard up over by Pizza D's as part of the promotional tool, and they've been featured in some of the biggest publications that you can as a metal band, on Decibel Magazine and Metal Injection and all these cool sites. So this new Terminal Nation album is absolutely a big deal, and it's definitely something you should check out. And there's no doubt that they're going to be doing some really cool stuff which as far as shows, to celebrate that album's release. Also, be sure and check out this week's episode of Crashcast featuring John Bailey and Alex Hutchinson from the John Bailey and the Heathen Revival. Those dudes are so awesome, and John Bailey is such a talented. They're both so talented, but like his music is extremely like it's just really thoughtful and stuff. And so they've got new stuff coming out, and so definitely check out the Crashcast episode featuring them. And stay tuned for next week's episode of the Ringo Report. I'll be doing a lot more deep diving on the shows happening and stuff. And soon I'll be doing a deep dive on stuff like the Arkansas Death Fest that's happening. And so stay tuned for more. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you very much.